This video contains spoilers for Arcane Season 1 and 2. What if the most hated character of Arcane was a clue to a deeper understanding of Cait and the themes of Season 2? Then we should analyze such an underrated character, shouldn't we? I feel we should, and I'm ready to do it. My name is Betty Blue, and in this video I will first debunk some flawed theories about Maddie, so that they don't mislead us, and then analyze her core traits and her role in the story to find what she really is. And of course, at the end, please tell me in the comments what you think, if you agree with my theories, or if you have different interpretations. Here we go. Debunk number 1. Maddie creates love drama. No. Vi and Maddie never confront each other, and Vi directly tells Cait, I don't freaking care about Maddie. Maddie creates a potential situation of drama, but the actual drama never happens. Debunk number 2. Maddie is a Noxian. This is what her voice actor said in an interview, but I don't care. Maybe the authors created her as an Noxian, but it is not what the story told us, and I only trust the story, because that is the material we have and the elements that the authors decided to convey. And the story does not say that Maddie is an Noxian spy planted by Ambessa since the beginning, but rather the contrary. If you don't trust me, here is a list of reasons. I assume that when enrolling in the Enforcer, they ask you your data and your nationality too, so if Maddie was an Noxian, they would know. Maddie is around Cait before she becomes a dictator, while there is no reason to spy on her yet. Ambessa seems to notice Cait and the potential to manipulate her when Cait announces her mission to Zone, with the strike team in which she herself already recruited Maddie, not yet under Ambessa's influence. It would be a dumb strategy for Ambessa to plant a spy out of nowhere with the very improbable mission of becoming Cait's lover. In a scene, Ambessa points out how close Cait and Maddie seem, suggesting that she only notices after they were already close, and now it is an information that she can use at her own advantage. The first instance we see of Maddie spying happens after Cait avoided her touch and dismissed her to give priority to Vi. Maddie notices and is hurt, suggesting that now she has a reason to betray Cait and join Ambessa, who probably already proposed this collaboration to her. I think these reasons legitimize the debunk. Debunk number 3. Maddie is a relevant character. I am not contradicting myself. Maddie displays relevant elements for the full comprehension of the season's themes, but she is not relevant as a character. Specifically, because her superficial storyline as a character is not relevant, I started looking more into depths to what she represents in the arc of other characters. If she was substituted with a random, nameless background character, a different one in every scene, the events of the story would not be affected. Any soldier could talk to drunk Vi. Any soldier could be recruited for the mission in Zone, since none of them affects the mission. Any girl could become Cait's backup lover. Any soldier could betray Cait, or she could simply be captured by an Noxian soldier. The fact that Maddie does all this does not tell us anything relevant about Maddie. So, why making the same character do all these things, if not to link them back together to the same theme? Maddie is not a relevant character, but she is a relevant thematic thread for other characters' arc. We are done with the debunking, now let's see what we know about Maddie. She is an enforcer. She is very young. Her character design is extremely likable. She probably looks even younger than her actual age. She has freckles and big blue eyes and a bright smile. Her face looks a lot like the face of a child, cute, innocent, trustworthy, harmless. She has a Scottish accent, which is impossible to hate. The first time she enters the screen and talks to Vi, she seems very nice and chill. She introduces herself formally first, as Officer Nolan, but then she immediately says her first name, Maddie, which could also be a nickname of Madeline or something similar, shifting the tone to informal and friendly. She expresses her excitement and sincere happiness in meeting Vi in person, like an excited child meeting a celebrity, and she is sure that Vi will join the Enforcers. She seems genuine and naive. There is also a trait of Maddie that I think can be deduced, even if it's not openly stated: her admiration for power, or for people higher in the hierarchy. The first thing she does in the series is admire Vi, based on the praise Cait made of her, and that she reported. Maddie thinks that Vi is the perfect enforcer, somebody she might aspire to be. And enforcers are literally the hand of power. They enforce the decisions made by people in power. Then she becomes the lover of Piltover's dictator. She even says, "You're our leader. The enforcers, Piltover, they follow you. I follow you." Linking her personal devotion to Cait with Cait's position of power, which was probably a factor in her seduction. And at the end, she joins Ambessa, who is extremely powerful too, and recently acquired a very powerful weapon that can make her invincible. Again, Maddie follows and admires a person that is hierarchically superior to her and has a position of power. Both of these traits of Maddie, the likability and the fascination with power, are relevant to understand her role, in particular how Cait relates to her. Now, why is Maddie around Cait? She becomes her lover and the closest person to her after Cait broke up with Vi. So, their relationship is a consequence of Cait choosing to abandon Vi. I have already discussed on the side of another video what is Vi's influence of Cait, so I'll keep it short here. Vi activates the best part of Cait, her kind, rational, and compassionate side. We see this in several scenes in which Vi's presence calms Cait's grief and rage. Cait decides to push Vi away because she understands that, as long as they are together, she will not be unhinged enough to actually kill Jinx and avenge her mother. Vi is what hinges her, emotionally or physically. So Cait abandons Vi and her compassionate side, and she gains Maddie. Maddie is not only a direct consequence of this bad choice, but a physical manifestation and a constant reminder of it. Maddie is the first Piltovian who encourages Cait to become a dictator. She is the closest enforcer to her. She follows her everywhere, as long as she is a dictator, until Vi shows up again, and Cait begins making amends for her bad choices. I talked about Cait's amends in another video already, so I'll skip it here. Cait's bad choices, more specifically, are compromises of principles. By the way, I think that Maddie represents this meaning at her first meeting with Vi too. She invites Vi to compromise with her principles and join the Enforcers, which will lead her to exert police brutality and use chemical weapons against her fellow Zonites, for the greater good of stopping Jinx. So, Maddie's relationship to Vi is coherent with what she represents too. But of course, Cait is the one that engages with her the most. So let's get back to her. Cait doesn't love the compromises she's doing, just like she doesn't love Maddie, but she goes along with them. She accepts doing actions that she recognizes as wrong and unjust, for the greater good of avenging her mother. This is the meaning in a scene in episode 4, when Cait places a lantern at the base of the monument for her late mother and the victims of Jinx's attack. And then she turns to Maddie and looks at her for quite a long moment. This scene is alternated with other characters honoring the memory of deceased leaders. Sevika at Wonder's statue, and the blue friend of Echo with pointy ears at Echo's mural. These characters are reflecting about the values of their groups, their dreams and hopes, and the ongoing fight to reach them. Cait, too, She's honoring her mother, still grieving her, and aiming at avenging her. Then she turns to Maddie. Maddie is not only an enforcer at her command, which is already a reminder of Cait's current position of power, but as said, she is her lover because Cait abandoned Vi and compassion. At that moment, Cait stares in the eyes of her bad choices, her disliked compromises that she has accepted and will continue to accept in order to avenge her mother. But she looks very distressed about it. Maddie lowers her eyes. From her, Cait receives no comforting connection through gaze. On the contrary, Cait and Vi have a lot of eye contact, during which Cait is usually appeased. So much that her most rageful moments are usually when she's not looking at Vi, and during the breakup she even turns her back to her. And when they meet again, Cait's eyes immediately lock in with Vi's eyes, and she finds her lost kindness again. I won't discuss their reunion here because I already dedicated an entire video to it. Maddie is not Vi. She has no such connection with Cait, who cannot find reassurance nor peace in her eyes. About the inadequacy of Maddie for Cait's eye contact and emotional relief, there is another interesting scene, when Vi enters the room in which Cait is talking with Maddie. In episode 8, Cait just avoided Maddie's touch, signaling that she started detaching from her. Later, she will also tell Vi that she waited for her to be present before making an important decision, revealing that she wants to act under Vi's influence again. Between these two moments, there is an intense eye contact between Vi and Cait. They look hostile because the matter at hand is grave and each of them doesn't know how the other will respond to her motives. But still, they lock in with each other's eyes. Poor Maddie is before Vi, but Cait looks past her, straight into Vi's eyes. We understand this by several hints. But how fixed is Cait and Vi's gaze, clearly set on an equally fixed target? By Cait's face movements, while she dismisses Maddie, hinting at Maddie being not the target of her look, but next to it. And by the shot including Maddie and Vi, that does not perfectly correspond to Cait's perspective, but it imitates it. Maddie is slightly blurred, while Vi is on focus, because Vi is the focus of Cait's attention. Cait is looking at her, and past Maddie. This scene happens when Vi is back. Cait's kindness is resurfacing, and therefore she's stepping away from her past bad choices, which Maddie represents. However, for a long time, Cait has been accepting Maddie and the compromises. After all, they didn't look that bad. Maddie looks cute and innocent. Some small compromises at the beginning look harmless and tolerable. In this specific case, we are talking about compromises of abuse of power. People in power should be responsible to use all their big power for good. And Cait, since season 1, is aware of Piltover's privilege and power over Zone, and she recognizes it as unjust. Now she accepts being a dictator and wielding that power to achieve her goal of revenge. But this compromise, that looks tolerable in the beginning, ends up turning against her. Literally, Maddie betrays her, turning against her all her power and all the power that she has conceded to Ambessa during deteriorating compromises. Cait allowed and operated injustices because they seemed tolerable and harmless enough, or at least harmless to her. And instead, by doing this, she was preparing her own downfall. Ultimately, she becomes a victim of those same injustices that she herself helped establishing, because at the start they only affected other people and not her. This is how privilege works. People who support privilege because initially they benefit from it, in reality are just legitimizing and reinforcing a system in which anybody can become a victim of privilege. And sooner or later, when this system won't need their support anymore, they will become victims of it as well. This is the purpose that Maddie serves in the story, in my opinion. About Cait's and Vi's reunion, here is the video that I mentioned. About Cait's amends, it's a discussion included in my analysis of Vi's last line, and you can find the video by browsing through my playlist of video essays about Arcane. Bye!